Hi, Jess. Welcome to Soul Sessions.
Hi, Amanda. Thank you so much for having me. I have been listening to you since you started your podcast. You've had done a couple readings on me, so I'm super excited to be here. Um,
Absolutely. Where are you? Tell everybody where you are.
yes, I am in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Nice. Intermountain West. Okay, there's a lot of stuff going on in Colorado. Tell me, what are you curious about today? What are you seeking and wanting to explore?
Yes, so I've been going through huge shifts, a spiritual awakening, like so much has been happening. It was funny. I listened to your podcast last week and you were talking about timeline jumping. So I'm like, has it been 6 days or 6 months? But just I guess the shifts in energy. Some I like have I don't know if it's psychic things happening, but just like a lot of energy. Just these shifts that happen when you go through this type of awakening, I guess you would say.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that resonates with a lot of people out there. It certainly resonates with me and what I am walking through. It's almost like the ground beneath me isn't solid. And the first thing they're showing me, because of your energy field and who you like a methodical step by step approach to things. But at the same time, when you jump in and you create as you go, which is very much your soul's path in this lifetime, creating in real time versus having a strict formulary or a strict plan. And it's not about not doing your homework or not being prepared, but being prepared and then showing up in the moment and creating in real time is what is happening. And when you're asking about your psychic gifts, the way that they're showing me that they are coming through so drastically is claircognizance. And claircognizance is a tricky one. Clairvoyance is pretty straightforward. You see things, you see images on a screen, and not that you're not having these things. And of course, empathy and clairsentience and really feeling stuff in your body. There's a lot of anxiety and energy that's been running through you. It's almost like you just will feel totally overwhelmed with energy for no apparent reason. That's been happening a lot. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, because they're like claircognizance, and then they were like, "Well, but she's got a lot of empathy and clairsentience happening, and you're picking up on everything around you." So what they say is imperative right now is to ground and center and clear your auric field regularly. I mean, like you are clearing the glass with Windex. And you can even imagine in your mind's eye that you've got a rag and you are cleaning that glass and getting the fingerprints off of it because you really absorb other people's energy so easily. And the beautiful thing about that is that's how you create. You're picking up on different people's energy and vibrations and thoughts and ideas, and you're learning to synthesize and interpret that. You're learning a new language. And I've mentioned that in the podcast, but this is very real for you right now. They're saying you're even as articulate as you are, you're having a hard time articulating what you're experiencing, and then it's like, "Who do I talk to this to? Who do I tell this to where they're gonna get it or help me understand it?" And you kinda feel alone. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's also new. There's one person in my life that I can go to and like they can help me through it, but I've just never been in this space before.
Yeah, and they're saying you're so used to being in charge, responsible, not buttoned up. I don't mean like aloof and buttoned up, but like I'm with it. I've got it together. I'm successful. I take care of business. And you're learning to be a little bit flexible and malleable and like it's almost like even the clothes you're wearing different clothes, they keep saying. Like your style, like where you'd go to something a little bit more put together and tailored, now it's like you're starting to like gravitate towards like flowier clothes and things that just feel more relaxed yet beautiful. And they're saying you have been feeling really beautiful lately. And I love that this is coming through. Does that make sense? This is not ego talking. This is your soul. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay. They're saying don't disregard that you're, like, feeling yourself. I feel like this is really funny what they're saying in terms of the analogy they're giving me. I was watching the Kardashians. Yes, I was. I was watching the Kardashians last week, and Kim was talking about how when she travels, she brings lingerie, and she's like, "And I like to feel myself." And they were like, "Ew," and she's like, "No, I mean, like, my vibe." Well, they're saying that about you, that you're starting to feel yourself, and it's unnatural, and you're kinda like, "No, no, pull it together, Jess," and then it's like, "No, like, I wanna feel sexy and beautiful," and they're saying that's part of your awakening and change that's going on physically in how you carry yourself, the clothes you wear, your style is literally changing, but they're talking about back to the clear cognizance and the clear sentience. Your antenna is really, really turned on, so it is imperative that you get restful sleep. They're saying your sleep is not restful,
Oh my
like, it's terrible, like, it's off. You're waking up and that you're not waking up well rested. It's like you are fighting sleeping, and it's not doing you good. Does that make sense?
Yes, because when I feel like I'm sleeping, I feel like I'm not sleeping
Okay,
in my
and you're not because that is literally happening, like, you're doing so much work on the astral plane that your physical body is not getting the rest and relaxation it needs. So, 2 things to that. 1, you say to your soul when you go to bed, "Hey, soul, I recognize I'm doing all this work, in all this multidimensional time and on the astral plane, but excuse me, Jess's body needs to relax, rejuvenate, and get deep REM sleep so her brain is flushed, with the proper chemicals that it needs at night, and her body is rejuvenated so she can show up in the world. So have a stern talking to your soul, and you can laugh while you do this, but like explain it. Like, let me explain you, soul. And I laugh when I do that, but sometimes I'm like, hey, like this isn't gonna work because I'm not sleeping well. I know that stuff's going on, not sleeping well. So that, and then also, I mean, I'm not a doctor or anything, but, take some valerian or just a smidge of melatonin because you don't want to take too much melatonin that you're turning off receptors where you can't remember things. Whatever works for you, some tea or take a bath before bed so you are really relaxing your body, remove the screen time, like do the literal stuff with your body's biological rhythms, turn the lights down, put meditation music on, but your physical human body is needing better rest to cognize and process what's going on in the astral plane. And to that end, start a dream journal. If you've never done it, do a freaking dream journal. And just remember with a dream journal, it's hard. It's hard. Some people are like
yeah.
wicked good at it. I have to practice it to do it, but just keep a literal journal and a pen by your bed and grab it and jot down notes in the moment because it will help synthesize the right and left hemispheres of the brain, but it will also give you precognition, things that you like, and it may be really superficial stuff like, you know, you see a red car, at the grocery store or something very literal like that, and then 2 days later, you're at the grocery store and you're like, "Oh, there's a red car," and I know that may seem like, "Oh, that could happen to anybody," but
Mhm,
I want you to start tracking your precognition and your dreams with very superficial stuff, and that's been coming through a lot lately is play with the superficial things in reality versus, "What's my big meaning? What's my big purpose?" Because that is evolving for you, and your psychic gifts that are coming online, the claircognizance, meaning knowing things, knowing how to knowing something as it's happening and being able to almost hear people's thoughts or read people's energy. Does that make sense?
mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
In order for you to be able to do that impartially, because we all have feelings and emotions and judgments, it is imperative that that glass is clean, your aura is strong, and when you get information they want you to start practicing, is what they're asking me, like, to tell you to do, meaning practicing reading for people. So your friend that you have that you can talk to to about this stuff,
yeah.
I want you to maybe do an oracle card reading for them. Pretend you know what you're doing and you say, "I'm gonna pull it for" like, I'm not joking, I want you to jump into it, and this person is not gonna judge you. They may be like, "Jess, none of this makes sense to me. No, it doesn't resonate." So what? You need to, like, you have to have a thicker skin than that because it's not about you being right or wrong, it's about you doing, it's about you practicing. So, do an oracle card spread and say, "Okay, the first card I'm pulling is this. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I got this for you because this, and this." Just let yourself play in a safe playground with someone and start with a tool like oracle cards.
Mhm.
where you have something to reference and you're not just reading out of the blue. And they're talking to me with your work and your work colleagues. And they keep saying, um, how is work, by the way?
It's okay.
Okay. They're saying you're becoming like just detached and not interested and bored. And they're saying just keep showing up, keep doing what you're doing, but keep this close to you right now. It's not the time yet because it's going to create self doubt. So you show up to work, you do what you're doing, but also practice your spiritual gifts at work without articulating that that's what you're practicing. If that
Uh-huh.
makes
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mean deceiving anybody, but noticing if you thought about somebody and they came in and they said something that you were just thinking about. Just notice the
Mhm.
synchronicities or the parallels or stuff you intuited before something happened. Notice your intuition that way. And also what they're saying is coming online for you is teaching. And right now you're learning. You're the student of life in order to be able to teach and help and inspire people. And especially with being comfortable in their own skin. A lot of it has to do with identity, being true to themselves, and being comfortable in their own skin. Does that resonate?
Yeah. I feel like this is also new to me. I feel like I'm not fitting in my old life anymore.
Yeah, I know. And you know how I've been talking about grief? Like, and how we can grieve different things, a job, a move, anything. It is imperative that you take time to grieve, but like this honoring of who you've been and what you've learned because you're strong. You're an incredible leader. You are so accountable and responsible. You know these things about you. It's all over your energy field and you're not going to misstep. They say you're so worried that people are going to judge you or they're going to think you're a phony or they're going to think you're wacko. And you're not any of those things. You're budding, you're emerging, and it doesn't happen overnight. It's like you're blooming, and it's going to take little by little. But they're also saying make new friends. And what they mean by that, and this is the simplest go to that usually they'll give me is I mean, I know you're in Colorado and there's all sorts of holistic stuff, but when you see a sound bowl workshop or a chakra workshop or a new moon ceremony for XYZ and you don't know any go sign up for and go to the new moon ceremony. And when you're at the new moon ceremony and you really like the chick sitting next to you and she seems really cool and she knows the girl next to her, introduce yourself, get to know them. How long have y'all been coming here? Put yourself out there to make friends. And I know making friends as an adult is that's kind of weird. Like, it's just weird. And this is not like these are going to be all your best friends, but putting yourself out there. And the other thing they're saying, and this is you're going to have to help me with this a little bit. In work, they want you to really pay attention to being empathetic to people's circumstances. And what they mean by that, and I'm laughing because I totally understand this, is people are messy. People don't always get their stuff done. You have to ask them 4 times to do things. They don't follow up. And you are very detailed. You'll send an email, you'll send directions, and then somebody's like, well, why don't I do this? And you're like, but it was in my email. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so they're saying
I'm in a
that
manager role.
yeah, and I know, and they're showing me that. Like, they're saying when people just are spacey and they miss stuff and they're not paying attention and it annoys the you know what out of you because you're like, just get this done. Why didn't I do it myself? I should have just done it myself. They're saying for a minute, be all hacked off and annoyed by them. Feel your feelings and then see if you can train yourself to sit, to breathe, and to say, you know what? Like, this is not the end of the world.
Mhm,
Maybe they didn't read this, and I can say this with love and compassion, but this stuff is rolling off me like Teflon because some of just the minutia of work, it's like it's all over you and it's kind of taking away from your ability to strengthen this path forward. And as
mhm,
far as work related stuff and work change goes, because they're asking you want to that you they're telling you that you want to know about this is
mhm,
that it feels like as you shift into 2026, a lot is going to be clarified between now and November. Like You think your acceleration has been a lot and fast. It's about to, like, go triple, quadruple speed, like, into the next few months, especially if you connect with new people, you have your friend that's a safe space, and you really start practicing, you're gonna start getting clues, and change is on the horizon. So as you shift into 2026, and I would gather by mid-2026, like, this time next year, you're gonna be ready to make a change professionally, and they're also talking to me, I don't know if you've ever thought about doing this, about you doing something like yoga teacher training or getting your Reiki therapy thing. Have you thought about that?
Just recently, yeah,
That's what they
because
just
I
showed
am
me.
like I can, like, feel and play with energy, and so
Yes.
I'm like, "Hmm,
Hey,
this could be fun for me."
absolutely, and they're saying, like, "You have a great job, you know how to do it. Your job right now is a means to an end. It pays the bills, you know how to do it. You're kinda bored and annoyed with it. It's not your place and space," but they're saying, "Be so grateful for that. You just
Yeah.
don't have to take it home with you. You get up and you do what you do, and in your other life, your private life, and you're not living 2 lives, but this is the time to work behind the scenes and yes, take a Reiki course or your yoga teacher training, whatever is or both. They said or both because it is you learning to use your voice, your gifts, your intuition and talent in a more holistic and creative way. And you literally need a framework and training and other community, other people learning alongside you. So you grow in community, both in your not only your proficiency and your wisdom and adept like your ability that you have, also your courage and boldness in your voice. So they're saying, "Go for it. Do it. It's coming. Sign up for it, invest the money, and know that it's gonna be enriching."
Okay, that's good to hear because it's such a different path than what I was on before all of this started to happen, so I'm like, "This feels so natural and this feels so right, but it's just so different." So I'm like,
I know, and it
"Bring
makes sense
myself out."
why they're showing me, like, different clothes, a different persona, and you're feeling it, but it's like, okay, am I making the wrong step?" And they're saying, "No, you're evolving, you're following the call of your soul, and it's like a step at a time, but you also wanna do something where you dive in and learn. You love to learn. You're a life learner, and right now, you're starting to learn about things that actually resonate with your soul. Not that you haven't been into spirituality and your growth for a while, because I know you have. But right now, it's like, no, this is actually a path I want to go down because it's not only important for me, it's important for my path forward and what I'm intended to do, potentially even in my avocation. And they're saying, yes, it certainly is. And you know what they just showed me? I did my yoga teacher training in 2015 and I had lived just I'm gonna tell you this really quickly because they're saying this is kind of the same for you. I had lived a year and a half on this, like in the same place, and I drive by this yoga studio every day, and I never, ever, ever noticed it. And one day I'm driving home. It was in 2015. I look up and it says, the name of the yoga studio is there. And I was like, supposed to go to a yoga class there. I didn't even know there was a studio. I mean, it was so obvious. It was right on the corner in my face, and and I'm very observant. I had never noticed it. And that Sunday, I went to a yoga class, and next thing you know, 3 months later, I'm in their yoga teacher training while I'm full-time working, and it was a catalyst for me and my gifts and where I was going, and I needed that community. I needed to breathe and have that space. It was and they're saying the same thing is true for you. And so
Mhm.
you will know where you're supposed to go, and I feel like it's not just one training, like, I feel like there will be, like, a Reiki or an energy healing, and then it's either yoga or some kinda sound therapy, like, there's multimedia that's coming in your, like, training repertoire, and it's gonna start opening the doors for what you wanna do. Make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Oh
That
my gosh.
resonates a
I'm
lot.
so excited for you, and I wanna hear more, so you've got to keep me
Yes, I will.
posted.
I will.
Yes.
There's a lot more
Woo.
that I wanna talk to you about, so
Okay, amazing. All right, well, keep me posted, and thank you for coming on today. I know so many people will resonate because when you get this call in your soul and you're wanting to make these big leaps, and especially when they're spiritual and they're not tangible. They're not a perfect there's not a linear straight line to where you're going. It's like you're creating in real time. They just say yes to what shows up in front of you. Just like that day, I drive home and I had never noticed the yoga sign. And I noticed it one day and I was in a class 2 days later and it was exactly the community I was supposed to be in, the yoga instructors I was supposed to have. Like, but I didn't notice it until I was ready to respond. It's like,
Mhm.
and I don't know if that was just my psyche, my unconscious timelines, my soul. So just open your eyes to what's available. Start saying yes when you see you're at a coffee shop and there's like this new moon ceremony posted on their bulletin board and you notice it, go and you will land with your tribe and your people pretty quickly, they're saying. Yeah.
Yay, that's exciting
Yeah.
and
I'm
reassuring.
yeah. Well, I'm so glad, and I am thrilled for you, and I know that you're coming online like so many people, and it's right on time, and it's going to be rapid. Like, the rest of this year, get ready to, like, buckle down because 'cause you're gonna be doing regular life and all your things, and then behind the scenes is where you're gonna feel like you are growing and coming to life, and at first, they're gonna feel like, parallel train tracks, and it's gonna be awkward for a while, but then at some point, the train tracks, especially into 2026, will start to converge. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh my gosh, it's so good to see your face in person.
I
Thank you
know.
for coming on today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. This resonated so much, so I appreciate
Absolutely.
you.